So in the last episode, we found a bunch of different expired domains that were related to our niche. Now, we favorited some of these domains, and we're going to take a look at some to see if the content history is clean, to see if it's changed around a lot, see if there's any red flags, and then we're going to also have a look at the backlinks to check that the backlinks are sort of relevant, or some that we would struggle to get ourselves, so you know that they're pretty good. So we're going to go over to Domain Hunter Gatherer, and we're going to take a look at some of our domains. Now, the first one that I was really interested in was this developer-resource.com. So I have actually had a look at this, so I'll pull it up. I'm going to go to More Stats and Wayback Machine, and it's going to bring up the Wayback Machine with our domain. So here we're going to be able to see what the website has been over the history. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up some snapshots, and just in a new tab we're going to open up a bunch of them for each of the different years, just so that we can get an idea for how it may have changed over the years, to see if it's changed to maybe have a spam blog on there, or something else that we might have to look out for, like say it's been taken by a complete foreign language, and so it's just completely not relevant anymore. So we're going to open up a bunch of snapshots. Now the green ones are actually redirects, which is normally not a great sign, but it could mean that it's just not got a regular homepage. But normally it means that it's been redirected to a different domain, but then you wouldn't see so many of them. So I'm just going to keep going. The orange ones are errors, so we'll see what that comes up with. Oh, we've got some blues here. Blues are regular snapshots. So these are the ones that you really want to be paying attention to. So, okay, right, well, they're errors, so let's see. So yeah, it was a directory or article directory of some sort. Developer resource of Digital River. Now, I remember Digital River from years ago, and I believe they were a publisher or a web host. Let's take a look what they were. Privately held, provides global e-commerce, payments and marketing services. Yeah. Oh, they were a payment company back in the day, I believe. Right, so they've shut down now. So let's keep going. Now we know why. So My Commerce, yeah, Digital River company. So it had been redirected then. For how long? For not very long at all. So that was in 2014 to 2018. Let's see what it was doing in 2015. The Wayback Machine is not super quick, but it's really useful. It gives you some really good insights into what the domain's been used for. Okay, so we can see. Okay, I see what I did there. Right, yeah. So then it was redirected for a year or two, and then it was just 404 in and not much else. So we can see that its history is clean, and it was last in use early 2024, and the company went bust in 2025. So if you're watching this video, it's probably safe to say that I've got it now. So usually seeing redirects for a domain is not a great sign. It'll often mean that somebody else has picked up the domain at some point over the years and probably put it to a completely different use. Often that will be for a PBN, or it could be for use for any kind of spam or even scam purposes. So a redirect is normally a really bad sign. But in this case, I've overlooked it, and I wanted to address why I'm seemingly overlooking it. And that's because it's clearly stayed within the same company. So it's a domain, it stayed probably within the same sort of hosting range and things like that. So the purpose of the domain hasn't changed a huge amount. I mean, it started as an article website and then it was redirected to a sister property or a parent company or something like that. And then it's just been left unused. So what we can do with that is we can take the original history, or at least the page structure or the website page structure, and recreate that, and then take benefit from the backlinks that exist. So now we're going to go back and look at the backlinks. To go over the backlinks, we're going to be using, initially we'll be using Domain Hunter Gatherer and its integration with DOM Detailer to get the backlinks. So first we'll take a look at developerresource.com. We're going to right click on it and then we're going to choose Analyze Backlinks, and that will bring up the list of backlinks the DOM Detailer sees. Okay, we can see that there's 34 do follow links to 4 no follow and 26 referring domains for the 38 backlinks, which is quite good. So then, first of all, we'll just have a quick glance over the anchor texts just to make sure that they are relevant to the website, to make sure that the backlinks, have at least got something to do with what the website's about. Usually you want to be looking for lots of the brand mentioned. So in this case, developer resource. You want some that will be just generic, like visit here, website, read more, things like that, because that shows that it's been linked from citations or references in articles, things like that. You also can expect website domain or web page address, as sometimes sites will use those, and they're all quite natural. If you see a lot of anchor texts that are nothing to do with your site, then chances are that it's been picked up by a spammer at some point, and you want to steer clear of that if you can, most of the time anyway. So now we're just going to have a quick look at the anchor text here. You see we've got a lot of developer resource, developerresource.com. That will be something to do with the article. Yeah, the article you see here in the target URL, which is the page on the developer resource site, is how to protect software, and the anchor text is how to protect software. How to price is also from how to price software. Here would be an example of a generic anchor text. So do we have any more generics? Not really. So one generic, a lot of brand names and a couple of more specific keyword ones, but certainly nothing to be concerned about as far as the anchor texts are concerned. Nothing out of the ordinary or anything such as that. So now what we're going to have to do is have a look at the source URLs. This is the page that has the link to our website on it. So I can already see something that's slightly concerning, but I'll open them all up and we'll go through them one by one, and I'll show you why I think it's either good or bad. So to open them up, we're just going to left click on one of them. You'll see that every time I click on one, it'll open up the page in the browser. So I'm just going to do that for all of them, and then once I've loaded them up, we'll go through them. So we'll let all of them load up and then we'll go through them, starting with the first one. So what do we have here? BizFluent. So where would the link be on this page? Certainly doesn't look like a spam site as such. It's not an overly high quality site, but it's not one that I would be concerned about having a link from. That's good. We'll go to the next one. What do we have here? Articles, what's the date on them? This is for the whole of November. So this doesn't have a huge amount of spam or content on. That site's down now. You can expect that. Yeah, link on Wikipedia right there. You see it? Oh. Okay, so we'll move to the next one. That site's down. See, these were the ones that slightly concerned me. Website list 888. It's obviously a syndication of a link or some content, because there's a lot of these. Now, what it could be is that it was listed on page 888 of a directory of useful websites, and that website, the directory, has been syndicated on and placed on a lot of other websites. So it's possible that it's that, but also 888 is a gambling website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick search for... So I wasn't able to find anything online about what website list 888 is. So I'm going to proceed with some caution. See, that's basically a spam blog. But no, that's not spam as such. It's like a compilation website where they just bunch a load of information together to, try and get some views for the ads. Not a bad link, not a problem. Another one, what we've got here. Yeah, that's the link to developer resource there. So, right, website list 888. What is this? So this is certainly some form of spam, is it? Oh God. It has been spammed. When was that spammed? Was that more recently? That can't be right. 2025. So I think these look like an error. Whoops, can't find that page. Yeah, so that's an error. Let's see, can I develop a resource here? Giveawayoftheday.com. Yeah, that's a good link, I'd say. It looks like a proper website. No, it's a trash website, but it's been around a while. Down. Java programming forums. From 2010. How to protect software, that's that link there. There's another one about Digital River. You know what? There's some questionable links with these website list 888s, but mixed in every time we're seeing. That's a real discussion on outlinersoftware.com's forums. Developer resource, great article. See, I don't know, maybe that is genuine. And then that's the website list 888. How to price. So these links are looking just fine. That one's not a great link. That link's probably not a great one, to be honest. It looks like there's a lot of... I mean, it's not spam. Yeah, it is spam. It's totally spam. What am I saying? The human zygote formed after fertilization of egg is an actual human being and not something that can possibly develop into a human. Okay. No. So, website list 888. Who's that? Is that the same as this one? Blog Trader. So it's been picked up and chucked in amongst... there we go. Website list 887 and website list 889. So it was a syndicated list, a directory of websites. So that's where those links come from. Pay-per-click for dummies. Click here. Yep. On webresults.ie. Which looks like a fairly bona fide website to me. And what's this on Yelpad? Has the link been removed? Recent comments. It could be from a comment. So my takeaway from looking at these backlinks is that there's a mix. I mean, there's always going to be a mix of good links and bad links. You don't want to let a few bad links put you off a domain that otherwise is, you know, saying all the right things. Now, you can always double check the backlink profile. I personally think that Majestic's crawler has a lot of backlinks and tells you a lot of information. So if I'm going to be paying for another third party, I'd go with Majestic. The prices aren't as bad as Ahrefs and SEMrush, which really know how to charge you. And Moz is okay. I just prefer Majestic's crawler. They tend to show more links and more sort of relevancy in the links. So I'd actually say that domain is probably worth something. It's worth registering. I'm going to get it. So that would, to me, is a good example of a domain. So let's recap what we've found with developerresource.com. It's got a backlink from a website in my niche, a backlink that subsequently isn't actually showing in the list of backlinks, even though I found it there. That's simply because DOM detailers crawlers will only see so many links. It can't see the whole of the internet. Same for every service like Majestic, Moz, Ahrefs, SEMrush. They all have limited capabilities. They're very good, but they're all, you know, they are limited. So we know it's got backlinks in my niche. It's got a lot of content around my niche. It's got content about software, domains, websites, ranking. It's about developers, and my products are domain related, SEO related. They're online services. They're everything to do with what this is. So this would be a great one for my service. Now, if I was to be buying this from a reseller, I'd expect to be paying a lot more than just the registration cost, let's put it that way. If it was going at auction, it may go for $50 to a few $100s. So personally, I consider this a very good domain. I will be getting it, and I will be showing you in a future video how I recover it, get it uploaded, get it back online, and we'll see how long it takes to get it re-indexed. Okay, I won't build any links, but we'll see, because in my experience, these things will get re-indexed within a couple of days. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll move on to the next domain. So before ending the video, I'd like to go over quickly, just having a look at a backlink profile of a domain that's probably not so good. So I've got a sneaky suspicion that this domain with a domain authority of 45 and a trust flow of just 5 is not going to have the greatest backlink profile, and I think that's going to jump out fairly quickly. So I'm going to open it up, I'm going to right click on it, analyze backlinks. Now again, this is all done within Domain Hunter Gatherer. If you're on Domain Hunter Gatherer Pro, this is all included with your DOM detailer credits. If you're using Domain Hunter Gatherer Premium, you can get some DOM detailer credits, put your API in, and this will work. So for a website that's called SEOaddress.com, I'd be expecting backlinks with anchor text that are to do with SEO. So maybe backlinks, SEO, SEO agency, how to get links, things like this, along with the generics and the branding names. But as we can see here, the anchor text right off the bat are clothing related. There's some that are brand related, SEO address, but the majority of them are actually clothing related. So if you were looking at this domain with a view for basing an SEO website on it, maybe you were going to create an SEO blog and you wanted to base it on this domain, well, the backlinks aren't going to be helping you for that. So even though it has a high domain authority and a keyword in the address, if you were just going by that like you would with a database searching program or website, you'd find this domain and you might think, oh, that's a really good domain. It's got a high domain authority. But as we can see, the backlinks are not related to that topic. So the keyword in the domain is not always a big part of the story. It's often very minor. So let's move on. Assuming that that wasn't as bad as it is, let's move on to the next part, the no follow to do follow links. Now we can see that there's far more no follow than there are do follow links. That's not great. That's not what we want. We'd much rather be having do follow links, because no follow links tend to be made in comment sections, forums, on social media sites that anybody can post to. So they're not necessarily bad links, but they can, if the majority of them are no follow, it does give the suggestion that actually the links aren't of great quality. And that's what we're seeing here, that the majority are no follow compared to do follow. So we can look into the backlinks more deeply, but if I was setting up a PBN for domains about SEO domains, rankings and things like that, this would not be one for me. And I don't actually think that it is a particularly resellable one either, because the backlinks are not good. If I was to load up the history of the website in the Wayback Archive, then I'm certain that you would see an awful lot of clothing related or spam type content, just based on this. And from what I can see, a high domain authority and low trust flow does tend to suggest that there's been a lot of spamming afoot. Now I can't load up the Wayback Machine at the minute because it's down, so unfortunately I can't do that, but I can see these are all posted on forums and blogs. These are going to be comments. I'll load up a few and we'll quickly go through them. So do I recognize that? I mean, we can do some quick glancing and see if there's anything that jumps out at me in the website addresses. So while those pages load up, I'm going to see the first one, Into the World. Can't really see a lot. I'm assuming that's a forum. Dongdong.com, I don't know, Dongdong. Asian Culture Vulture, London Film Festival. So you've got a website about Asian culture and then something about the London Film Festival, and you've got a link about clothing on a website called seoaddress.com. There's all these irrelevant things jumbled together to create a link, a no-follow link. That's probably not going to be a very good one. The next one, Tasty Delights, anchor text SEO address on an apple and almond salad. Or Ladies Page, Hayward Church of Christ. I don't know that one. Too past, no. Can't get much from that. X-Men. See, none of these have any relevancy to the website or each other, or even necessarily the anchor text or the domain address. See, these are all red flags. This domain is showing every red flag going. And if I could get the Wayback Machine up right now, I would show you, but it is down, so unfortunately I can't get it up. But I do think that if you were to look at it, you'd probably know straight away if it was a good or bad content history. My guess is that it will be bad. So we can see that this is an animation blog. It's been spammed to buggery. I'm scrolling rapidly here. You see I'm at 792 links and I'm barely a tenth of the way through the page, so that's spam. This one isn't. This one looks fine, but I would hazard a guess that, yeah, it is a blog, so at some point it had a comment section. It's probably been disabled. Another one, comment blog, comment spam, more comment spam. Yeah, comment spam. Comment spam. So it doesn't take a genius to really look at a lot of this and make a judgment call. Spam. Comment spam. Forum spam. It's all spam. One day only, everything's spam. So yeah, there's 9,000 comments on that one. I don't know if you saw. So yeah, they're no good. It's not a good domain. So you cannot go by just one metric. If you were buying just based on domain authority because you thought, oh, we hear all the time that Google uses authority of domain. then we might think, well, maybe domain authority, as told by Moz, is something that we can use to base a purchasing decision on. And it is one of many metrics that can be used in conjunction with others to base a purchasing decision on. But if we were to go by just that, a domain with a domain authority of 45 and a page authority of 39, well, that looks great on paper if you don't look any further, but when you do look further, it all falls apart. So I'm going to unfavorite that one because I don't want it. So in this episode, we've looked at a lot of different things on how to whittle down a list of thousands of domains down to, say, 10 or 20 by looking at the stats like Majestic Trust Flow, Moz domain authority, as well as the backlink numbers and referring domains and how they all tie in with each other. So we've looked at that, and then we looked at how to ascertain whether the content of the website has been changed dramatically over the years and whether it is actually relevant to the niche for what you are building the PBN around. So you do need to make sure that the content is consistent. It hasn't changed a huge amount. You need to make sure that it hasn't been used for any spammy or hacked materials or adult related themes. And generally, you just want some consistency over its history. It's all right to have some parking pages or listings on sale sites and things like that. That's not too big a deal. So long as the content has stayed quite consistent and hasn't been spammy or adult related, it should be okay. And also make sure that the language of it hasn't changed drastically, such that you find that certain snapshots are using a completely different alphabet to the one that you're going to be targeting. When it comes to the backlink profile, we've looked at how to look through the backlink profile, check that the anchor texts are on point with having a good percentage of generics as well as brand-based anchor text, and a few keyword-related anchor text is not a bad thing. We saw in the bad domain example, the SEOaddress.com, we saw that had anchor texts that were not related to SEO in any way whatsoever. So that was an example of bad. So you need to look out for relevant backlinks, relevant anchor text, as well as backlinks on sites that are relevant. So we saw that with the developer resource website, that had a lot of backlinks from article sites and things relating to SEO software and pay-per-click and things like that. Websites that are related to the content of the website. So you've got relevant links from relevant websites to the domain that we're interested in. But with the example of SEO address, we had the opposite. We had a domain about SEO, we had backlinks for clothing and trainers and things like that. And the backlinks were on sites that were not even relevant at all. There was religious sites and pet sites and all sorts of different things. So you need to make sure that everything's consistent. You'll see in the description we actually have a cheat sheet that you can visit. You can fill out and check all of the different things. We've got different metrics to look out for, things to avoid, great hints and tips on there, even an area for writing notes about individual domains. So you can save this to your computer and then you can fill out one every time you're looking at a domain to buy, and it's really helpful. It's a free download in the description below, no sign up required or anything. You can even fill it in and print it out so that you can save your progress, and even fill it out by hand if you'd prefer that way. In the next episode, we'll be looking at how to register the domain, to find a cheap registrar, cheap host, because obviously if this is going to be as part of a PN, you need to consider where you're registering it and where you're hosting it, and not just keep it in the same host and registrar every time. I'm going to show you how to recreate the website, how to take it from its original form and get it back online and recreate the website. And you'll probably even see if when the domain gets indexed. So I have actually already registered the domain. So by the time you've watched this, I already have the domain. I have already recovered it. I know when it gets indexed. It's really bloody quick. As I often find with these things, to be perfectly honest. So I would strongly advise for you to stay tuned for the next one. If you want to get subscribed here or sign up at domainhuntergatherer.com so that you can follow along and perform all of these tasks yourself, create your own PBN that will be your own personal superpower for getting your sites ranked. Now, people like to make out that these things are difficult. I hope that I've showed you that the work I've done so far is not entirely without skill, but is not a particularly skillful process. With the right tools, the right information, this can be quite easily done. We can have our own PBN set up and it doesn't have to take all that long or a huge amount of money either. So I truly think that with Domain Hunter Gatherer Pro, we can be saving hundreds or maybe even thousands over the course of a PBN just on the domains itself. So with these domains, we can get these all for the cost of registration. We're not paying for auction fees, we're not paying private sellers, we're not paying premium price at the premium domains aftermarkets. Yeah, we can have them right now. We don't have to wait for transfer, we don't have to wait for auctions to end, we don't have to hope and pray that our drop catcher is the one that manages to get the domain. You can grab these domains now for the cost of registering a brand new domain. And I think you'll see, when you see how quickly it gets indexed, I think you'll see just how valuable these domains are, and you'll wonder why you've been using fresh domains. So with that said, domainhuntergatherer.com, subscribe, leave a comment below. I know I'm covering a lot of subject in these videos. If there's anything that you're concerned about or not quite sure about, stick it in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. This is an ongoing series, so there will be further episodes. Check out the playlist, they may even be available now. See you in the next one. Cheers.